Police officers have read it. What's the weirdest thing you've caught teenagers or kids doing that is illegal, but you found hilarious? My brother was a cop who worked nights in Minneapolis. One snowy night near the University of Southern California campus, he noticed a car weaving, so he pulled them over thinking there would be alcohol involved. Nope, it was a car full of deaf people having an argument which included the driver. He just told the driver to not sign and drive. My brother is a cop, and he told me one time he got a call around 9:30 in the morning for a suspicious person sitting in their car in a neighborhood. My bro goes up to him and asks what he's doing. Dude is waiting for his wife to leave for work so he can go back home and play WoW all day instead of go to his own job. My bro tells him to go wait somewhere else because he's freaking out the neighbors. To clarify a few things, the guy was parked in a different neighborhood than his own because he was hiding from his wife until she left the house, so nobody knew him, and it's obviously suspicious to be idling your car in front of some random house in a neighborhood while kids are going to school. It's not illegal, but he took the good advice to go wait somewhere else. I'm not sure who's weirder there. The guy who's got nothing better to do than poorly hide from his wife so he can play video games all day, or the neighbors who have nothing better to do than to look out the window all day. I had a cop search my backpack once and found a couple of beers and a box of condoms. I was with my friends at the time, so he was like, "Why are there 3 beers, a box of condoms, and 2 dudes?" I was speechless. To be fair, officer, now there's 3. Raunchy music intensifies. My friend had a bunch of prop arms and legs in his car, college. He and his other friend were trespassing in the Northfield tunnels. Google it, and when they get back to the car, there is a cop waiting. He asks to see in the trunk, so they open it. He jumps back a sec, but quickly realizes their arms and legs are fake and he hasn't caught some serial killers. Then gives them a very stern, shut-the-fuck-up look as he calls his partner from the car to come look at this, shaky-voiced, as he tells my friend and his friend to put their hands up. Ella serious, the other cop comes over, looks in the trunk and freaks the fuck out, screams and runs away back to the car. At which point the first cop bursts out laughing and tells my friends, he was in Vietnam, and does a get out of here gesture and sends them on their way. So basically he used my friend to pull a super cruel practical joke on his partner. National South Wales, police officer Australia, 7 years, in signed, shit money since everyone always asks. We got a call about kids probably 11, 12 years old, jumping across backyards. They were looking for things to steal, I guess. We searched for them for about 15 minutes. Just as I was starting to get bored with it, I hear laughing coming from a drain pipe. It's out 4 foot tall. My mate and I decide to head in. About 30 meters down the tunnel, I come see this kid bent over on all fours, pants down around his ankles. His mate is bent over, sitting on his back, spreading the first kid's butt cheeks. There is a third kid kneeling next to the first kid's butt holding a lighter. They were in the midst of doing Blue Angels lighting farts in a dark tunnel. I had no fucking clue what to say. We told them to come out of the drain with us. I advised them not to tell any of their other friends what they had gotten up to since they would probably get the wrong reputation, and drove them within a block of one of the kids' houses so the parents didn't know they had been caught. Come out with your pants up. I remember this comment from Reddit years ago that must be a contender. So one of my friends is in a frat. They were having a party and some guy was dressed up as Captain Jack Sparrow. Awesome, I know. Anyways, the cops show up and the party is on the 3rd floor. Captain Sparrow looks at them when they come in, throws open the window and yells, "Gentlemen, you will forever remember this as the day you almost caught Captain Jack Sparrow and jumped out the window. Broke both legs, still got his minor in position." I have to wonder if he had that planned for if the cops showed up, or if it was a sudden stroke of genius. My brother was once jumping his bike off the end of the public boat behind the city hall, which also housed our police station. They had it tethered so it wouldn't get lost on the bottom. A cop came out, watched for a while and said, "I'm fairly certain something about that is illegal. But I can't figure out what, and it looks like fun, so be safe," and walked back inside. Similar thing happened when my friend and I were skateboarding around in front of a coffee shop. Big scary security guard came over, grabbed a skateboard, rode it around the parking lot, did an ollie and a kickflip, then gave it back and left. We're talking a 350 pounds, probably 35, 40 years old man. Our jaws were on the floor. A few years ago, a friend and I were walking home through a residential estate, drunk after a night out. About halfway home, a police car pulls up next to us and says they need to talk to us. They say that video surveillance system in the area had observed us entering several front gardens. We then drunkenly explained that we had been going into people's gardens and swapping around flower pots, hanging baskets and garden ornaments with their next-door neighbors. One of the cops was laughing a lot and the others seemed really confused. Luckily, they got another call and let us carry on our way. When I was a teen living in the Phoenix area, we would fill up the back of a pickup with shaved ice from behind the ice rink and then build snowmen in people's yards. We would do it at night before ringing and driving away. One time, a neighbor called the cops after hearing a group of teens sneaking around outside. The cop came by and found out what we were doing. Instead of getting after us, he told us to follow him somewhere. We ended up making a snowman in his own front yard. He rang the doorbell and hid around the corner while his wife came to the door, and then his kids came out. There are some good cops out there. Not all of them are like the ones shooting people without cause. So I pull up on an SUV one night about 2 a.m. Inside there are 4 teenage boys. The parking lot is pitch black, no businesses nearby are open, and they are sitting there with no lights on. I approach them and get several more units there quickly, cause some shit is about to go down. When enough of my peeps get there, we get them out of the car. They are unshakingly polite, respectful, and cooperative, and actually allow us to search their car and then their pockets. We find nothing, not even an odor of marijuana. After exhausting ourselves going through this car, I eventually cave and ask them what the heck they were doing, because I thought for sure they were up to no good, and I was coming up zilch. They had gone to the 7-Eleven and bought a big tub of trail mix. They were sitting in the car eating trail mix. They showed me the receipt for 10 minutes prior and half-eaten tub of trail mix. I told them this was the weirdest shit I've ever seen and apologized that I ran them through the ringer. They agreed that parking in a dark parking lot eating trail mix looked sketchy and didn't have hard feelings about the ordeal. Or teenage people middle of the night eating a bag of trail mix. They were high as fuck. Not illegal, but certainly weird. Got a noise complaint call where the neighbors informed dispatch the parents are out of town and suspect underage drinking and or possible drug use. Me too. These types of calls are the worst, because you can almost guarantee someone is puking in the back of your car, and you'll have to write a buttload of local ordinance paper. We roll up, throw the overheads on to scatter as many as possible, and make a slow walk up to the front door. We play the nobody's home game for a while until one of the kids lets my partner in the back door. We subsequently find around 12 teenagers and what appears to be multiple bottles of rum and vodka, as well as several baggies containing marijuana and some pills. Upon further inspection, we find the liquor bottles have been emptied and filled with water. The marijuana is actually oregano and parsley, and the pills were just aspirin. They were having a pretend party to put on social media, but the strongest thing in the room was Red Bull. I've posted this before, but I always find it hilarious because my dad is a goofy, fun guy. He's been a cop for almost 30 years now, and he loves his job because he gets to be out in the community and make a difference. The guy is going to retire next month, and he's stoked he gets to play Battlefield and go on vacation. Anyway, he gets a call one night about some teenagers vandalizing a park. Dispatch lets him know that it's a lady that calls round the clock thinking she's the neighborhood watch. So as he cruises in towards this park, he comes in all lights blacked out and watches from a distance. After a couple minutes of watching, he realizes these people are playing hide and seek. They also look a little older than just teenagers. He gets out of a car and sneaks up to some of them, hiding in a group behind some trees and bushes. My dad hunkers down behind them, and one of them looks back and sees him. The kid freaks out and starts to run, and my dad grabs him and says, "Dude, shut up or the other team will find us." The guys crack up because now they realize my dad is down to win this game. He ends up playing hide and seek with this group of 21-year-olds for the next hour. The best part was about 6 months later. I'm having a Halloween shindig at my house and my dad stops because he wants to score some burgers off us while he's at work. He walks in and a guy at the party is like, "Holy shit, your dad is officer." He played hide and seek with us. We were doing laps around a pond with a rope tied to my Jeep, and another person wakeboarding behind holding on to the rope. The police officer pulled up on the nearest road, flashed his lights and motioned for us to come over to him. When we got there, he just said, "That looks like a hell of a good time, but I'm getting tired of dispatch getting calls about y'all. Sorry guys, save up some money and buy a boat." I'm not a police officer, sorry. But two kids at my school, one of them was a friend's brother, actually got drunk last year and climbed a 100-plus foot crane, all the way to the top. Best part, the crane was directly across the street from the police station. They were noticed right away and arrested the second they came down. Well, in college, we got the police called on us for a violent crime in progress. When they pounded on our door, we opened, and they barged in. A neighbor reported hearing people yelling things like, "Shut up, you little cunt, I'm going to rape your fucking 12-year-old ass," along with a girl screaming profanity. When the cops saw it was three guys and a girl drinking and playing Halo, the one just looks at the others in sheer disbelief. The cop starts to tell us they were called in for a rape in progress and tell us how we need to be more careful and whatnot, because it could have ended badly. During this time, my friend is still on the headset and the other guys we were playing with are wondering what the hell is going on and are hassling him. And then my friend says with the cop in the room, "We were apparently raping you fuckers so badly somebody had to call the cops, and the cops just can't hold it in and start cracking up. They did give us a noise warning but no citations." It's not a police officer, but this story is going to fit. I was 17, just got my learner's permit, which allowed me to drive alone but not after midnight or before until 6:00 in the morning. New Jersey older rules, and a bunch of friends. I went to Applebee's. I had a couple of airsoft guns in the trunk, about 3,000 plastic BBs, and we all decided it was a good idea to chase each other around in the parking lot with the guns. Stupidly, I took off the yellow tips. Waitress inside sees us, calls the cops. Cops show up, arrest us and ask us to sit on the curb. After about 7 minutes of seriousness, they take the guns and BBs, dump them in my trunk and back seat, laugh and leave after breaking the airsoft. They told us not to play with these in public parking lots and not to remove the orange-yellow tips. Those guys took our beers too. Now that I think about it, we could have been killed. I bet they drank your beer later that night. I had a roommate in college that loved to tell this story. He drove a Jeep, and having a Jeep, he loved messing around with it in snow. So one day he is driving down the highway during a snowstorm when he notices this building with a small parking lot off the highway. So he pulls in and proceeds to do donuts around this empty parking lot in the fresh snow. He then gets back on the highway. Not 30 seconds later, he has blue lights flashing behind him. The cop comes up to his window and tells him, "Sir, if you're going to do donuts, please make sure you don't do them in the parking lot of the state police barracks." Sure enough, he looks back and there is a bunch of cops standing out behind the building laughing at him. Thank you for watching this video to the end. Write in the comments, have you heard of any similar stories? So be sure to subscribe to our channel to not miss new super interesting videos. And I suggest you watch our other videos,